I love this new gig as an interviewer, and I'm ready to move on to the next level. I want to be the hard-hitting interviewer who asks serious questions and won't give up until he gets an interesting answer. So I've had, over the last week or two, I've told people, hey, I'm really excited, I'm going to Filthy Animal in Tempe. People go, Filthy Animal? You mean like from Home Alone?
That was not the driving force behind the name.
Well, that makes perfect sense now. And so when I... Then again, you have to know when to back off.
Lunch with the mayor, I'll meet you there. Lunch with the mayor. Lunch with the mayor. I'm talking about John Jive.
This episode of Lunch with the Mayor is brought to you by Salt River Project and Udall Shumway, counselors at law.
Johnny Carson once joked that the shortest measure of time was the moment between when a New York City traffic light turned green and when the car horn started honking. The second shortest is when you ask Tempe Mayor Corey Woods where he'd like to have lunch with the mayor. You thought for about a hundredth of a second, and you said, we're going to Filthy Animal.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Why did you think of this place first?
They're leading a real restaurant revolution right here in downtown Tempe on Mill Avenue.
And when Corey says they're leading a restaurant revolution, he's humbly excluding himself.
Corey was an advocate of what Tempe could be, and he's the one that really sold us the vision at first.
Mayor Woods was anxious to give downtown a refresh. Being a first-class foodie himself, he knew he needed someone like Teddy Myers.
I had a chance to visit one of his Phoenix restaurants in Red and Wolf, and I just said, you are exactly the kind of person who we need in downtown Tempe.
Corey showed Teddy the old PF Chang's on the northwest corner of University and Mill.
For me, what was just really special was to have the marquee location on what should be one of the best entertainment districts in Arizona.
How's Mayor Woods' plan working out so far?
It could be a Wednesday night, and it could be 117 degrees, and the restaurant is booked solid.
When you walk into Filthy Animal, you instantly pick up on the vibe. There's a hint of smoked meat in the air from a very prominent wood fire grill at the center of everything. All of this springs from a story Teddy and his partners developed. A story about a certain man.
This globe-trotting playboy in a bygone era, maybe the 1970s, took an expedition through the Yucatan Peninsula and fell in love with the beauty and brutality of the jungle, and specifically wood-fire cooking over open flame.
So where did the restaurant's name come from?
We were obsessed with the word filthy.
As in filthy martini, you know, one that has a lot of olive brine in it. Yeah, olive brine.
And then when we were talking about the jungle theme restaurant, we were developing them both at the same time. We're like, well, this is like a Filthy Animal, and it stuck.
As for Drop Dead Gorgeous, the attached cocktail bar, it's pretty clear where the name for that came from. The creativity that is so evident, it makes perfect sense that your background is in music. Teddy took part in a generations-long family musical tradition, ASU's marching band.
My grandfather played trombone, my aunt played piccolo, I was on the drum line.
After graduation, he traded in the drumline uniform for ripped jeans and eyeliner.
Launched a band called Hollywood Heartthrob, where we put out an album and went on multiple national tours. I also started a record label.
Teddy had just graduated from ASU. How could he afford national tours and a record label?
I got the phone call that I had won the health and wealth raffle, and I thought that it was divine intervention because we were in the middle of recording an album that we couldn't afford, like we were looking at donating plasma.
The band and the money eventually came to an end. It was Teddy's first business failure, but it turned him back to his first love.
I got my first job in hospitality when I was 18 years old.
It inspired something in him even then. So he was back at it, a little older, a little wiser, and ready to get to work.
What motivates me is the same in in a band or in a restaurant. I wanted to create my own thing, and I wanted to build a team, launch a vision.
In 2015, Teddy and his wife Caitlin created what would become Pretty Decent Concepts, restaurants and lounges that deliver an experience far beyond fabulous food and beverage.
They never do the same restaurant twice. It's always about creating an entirely new concept for that area. And oh my goodness, here comes the food.
Good morning, gentlemen. In front of you today, we have our tuna pineapple ceviche with fried plantain chips. And here we have our slow braised beef PBL dumplings with a smoked pineapple topping.
Tuna and pineapple. Those are two of the best words in the English language, right?
And what I love too is that the sauce is a little bit spicy, but not so much so that it really kind of like overpowers the food.
Mocktails arrived. Excellent. These dumplings.
Oh yeah.
I'm a dumpling guy. Okay,
Yes.
I could write a book about dumplings. These are amazing. Not your run-of-the-mill dumpling by any means.
With just about every dish you can order in this restaurant, there are elements of smoke involved in the dish. Here, and even the ceviche, you're getting a charred smoked pineapple as part of the sauce.
I thought that maybe the fire was just kind of for ambiance and just to look cool. And I was corrected by the chef who said, no, we are smoking the corn and we're smoking the meats and this is what we're serving.
Right, no, it is absolutely not a gimmick.
Let me warn you about this next section. How do I say this politely? Mayors are real nerds. And nerds got a nerd.
Right around probably Q2 or the middle of 2029, every street in the city of Tempe in our 40-plus square miles will have all been completely resurfaced.
People complain to us about road construction.
These are critical investments that we're making in our city.
And I look at them and go, isn't that great that we're having road construction?
While it might be a little bit of a temporary frustration at times,
We're going to have these beautiful streets at the end of it.
it's going to have a really big long-term payoff.
Okay, at least I knew we had crossed the border into Nerd Town long ago. But Corey just kept driving that bus.
The southbound lane of Mill Avenue has been closed from 5th Street down to University Drive for the last 7 weeks. It actually, interestingly, reopens tomorrow.
It's the word interestingly that really sticks out here. Before he could launch into a speech about manhole covers, I was rescued by more food.
So these are going to be some of our first dinner entrees for you. Right here we have our ancho glazed pork chop on a bed of fried rice and our Portuguese smoked linguiça. And over here we have our branzino on a bed of chorizo sofrito and a delicious spicy corn foam.
So that pork chop is delicious. Now that is only available for dinner. The branzino, however, is available for lunch and dinner. It's just the side changes. So the side here is sort of a chorizo mixture kind of on the bottom. That is the dinner portion. But during the day for lunch, it's more of kind of a white rice option. So to keep it a little bit lighter so you can go back to the office and keep performing.
Corey, what shift do you work at the restaurant? Because I'd love to come on those nights that you are the maitre d'. I noticed Teddy stuck around so he could say hello to you. Every employee in this restaurant, you know, it's like Norm walking into Cheers when Corey Woods walks into this restaurant. Corey! I gotta tell you, the fish, I'm generally not, that's not the first thing I'm looking for on the menu.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But well, I think you just converted me. I am now a devout pescatarian. So now I'm going on to the highly touted pork chop. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
And you got some of the, you're about to eat right now, that linguiça sausage.
Yeah.
It's a Portuguese-based sausage. It's delicious.
Who would have thought that what a pork chop needs is a side of sausage? Now I know why the devil has a cloven hoof. I think sometimes you can make the mistake of walking into a place like this and the ambiance and the decor, and you go, wow, I'm like on a ride, in Disneyland. But then they bring out this amazing food, and you go, the bigger deal than where I'm at is what's in front of me. This food is to die for. They had to make way for the next entree. All good things come to an end, I guess. If we hadn't been filming, I'd be licking that plate.
Oh, I know. I would have fought you for that plate.
I would not have fought back. As a former pescatarian, I don't believe in violence.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. You did it. You did it.
Right here we have our lobster presentation. It's going to have a Korean tteokbokki mac and cheese with some pork belly in it, nice and spicy with some gochujang, whole lobster tail, and some grilled shishitos.
I died and went to heaven. Assuming former pescatarians even go to heaven. My passion in life is Korean food.
I thought you were going to say your passion in life was macaroni and cheese, but I mean,
Well, whose isn't? This entree was ringing all the bells for me. This is a classic Korean rice, cake that is very popular, and it's served typically with very spicy, gochujang spice to it. A word to the wise: don't try to outdo Mayor Woods with your foodie chatter. You'll just get embarrassed.
Well, they always say the general rule of peppers is that the larger they are, the less spicy they are. The smaller they are, that's when the Scoville level starts getting to an uncomfortable place.
The Scoville score on the peppers? What's a Scoville score? I've since discovered that everyone who's seen an episode of Hot Ones knows exactly what the Scoville score is. But I've never seen that show. Too spicy for a former pescatarian. What were some of the bigger hurdles you had to get over to make this restaurant happen?
The building's 30 years old. We tore everything out. It would have been cheaper starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Executing a very high design on a budget. We were dealing with inflation and dealing with cost overruns the entire time we were building out, unlike anything we've ever experienced.
But he got it done. The fact that this wonderful restaurant even exists is a testimony to the importance of dreaming big dreams. Dreams like Tempe Town Lake.
That was a huge catalyst for lots of economic development.
Jim McCain is the son of Senator John McCain. He too remembers the old downtown Tempe.
It was very different back then. You had a couple pool halls and that was it, And now it's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Skyscrapers, because of this water. It's still a desert and water is life.
It's hard to believe now, but Tempe Town Lake almost didn't happen.
They got a lot of pushback at the time that was being proposed. There were folks who used the term boondoggle. Who's going to want to come to some giant lake in the middle of the desert?
Today, after the Grand Canyon, that boondoggle in the middle of the desert is Arizona's second most visited location, bringing in more than $2 billion of economic development. Senator McCain was proud of his role in the construction of Tempe Town Lake. There was only one thing that nagged him.
Every time you'd fly in with him, the airport goes right over here, and he'd say, look, economic development ends at the end of the Tempe Town Lake.
John McCain believed that all of the communities along the dry riverbed should enjoy the economic development that came to Tempe. A month after being diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, Senator McCain dug in on his final legacy project, Rio Reimagined. He found his helpers. Again, ASU pledged its full support. He summoned mayors like myself to visit him and asked for our commitment. A master coalition builder, McCain poured his passion into people who could carry out his vision after he was gone.
Last working summer of his career, this was the focus. It's an interesting way to watch a man to the last moments of his life just swinging as hard as he could.
So this is gonna be our tomahawk ribeye, my friends, and this is gonna be our flambadou presentation. Right here we have a butter, tallow, and mezcal urban fusion. And what goes better with that flavor than pyrotechnics?
Wow. That's not just smoke coming out.
No.
That's the butter coming out.
Indeed.
Wow. I never knew butter was flammable.
Well, you do now.
I'm sure the mezcal helped. Butter on top of beef is, I think, important.
I do remember you saying during the first video we ever shot together, you said, me like red meat, so, so.
That's right. You and I filmed a Republican and a Democrat going out to lunch together.
Exactly.
Summer salad looks good. Actually, I want the burger, but he'll think that's typical.
Me, Republican, me like red meat.
Which is not wrong.
It's not false.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if you really like it. We'll find out here.
And of course, me liked it. Me liked it to moon and back. Corey, if you accomplish nothing else during your tenure as mayor, but you can, at the end of your service, take credit for bringing Filthy Animal to university and mill, I think they ought to put a statue to you in a park somewhere. Tempe Town Lake was already working its magic by the time Corey arrived in 2003.
I moved here to get my graduate degree. I really just sort of took to Tempe.
In 2006, at 27, Corey ran for Tempe's City Council.
Out of the 5 people that ran, I finished dead last in that race.
But it didn't diminish Corey's enthusiasm for getting involved.
I just sort of got more and more embedded in the fabric of the community.
He eventually did join the City Council. Then he was elected mayor in 2020. He immediately put his foot on the accelerator of downtown transformation. As an old track and field guy, the phrase sprint to the tape is important to me. And Filthy Animal finished strong with a couple of stunning desserts. First, a miso Basque-style cheesecake topped with dulce de leche. We're back to this notion of what are 2 words that I would never put in the same sentence? Miso and cheesecake.
Right, exactly.
Right? Being a blue-collar kid, I could only think of one way to describe how wonderful it was.
It's like the first person to put chocolate and peanut butter together.
Exactly.
Corey's description of the blackberry entremet was a bit more refined.
It's a very kind of light sort of chocolate mousse, but it's also the addition of that blackberry coulis on the bottom, and then of course the crumble here is fantastic.
I take back everything else I said about this is my favorite dish, this is my favorite dish. I would just come in and start with the dessert.
Yeah.
Get the miso. See how much miso cheesecake you can eat at one time.
And work your way backwards, exactly.
I guess I'm a cheesecaketarian now. Miso in love with it. It seems only fitting that the John S. McCain National Library will be built on the north side of Tempe Town Lake. Of course, the library will tell the story of McCain's life, including 5 years as a POW, his refusal to be released ahead of his men, his eventual return home, and his public service as a congressman and a U.S. senator. But the library's purpose is much more than a tribute to the late senator.
It's a place for people to come together and discuss.
That's great.
And that discussion, as we all know, needs to happen in the United States. We can't just stay divided.
What advice can you give a young man like me, from all of these experiences, the failures, the successes?
Persistence is key. And then beyond that, you have to use that persistence to inspire others to believe in the same vision, because it's all about the people you attract and pouring yourself into them. That's how you build something.
That's a masterclass right there. A perfect model for building anything. If you want to build a better city, you don't let a last place finish for city council slow you down. You persist. If you want to bring a river back to life, you find the right people to inspire, and then you pour your vision into them. And if you lose everything on a dream, you persist. You find your people. You pour. Pretty soon, what have you got? One mighty fine restaurant in a shining city on a river born again.
Lunch with the mayor, I'll meet you there. Lunch with the mayor. Lunch with the mayor. I'm talking about John Jive.